They do not bleed. They are incapable of remorse.
Nice watch. I don't want to be this way. I'm lonely. I'm lost. Wait, I'm literally lost. I've never been in this part of the airport before. I want to spend my life like you. Say something human. Nailed it.
Dad, he saved my life. I don't understand, but he's changing, and he's learning to be human again.
Don't be creepy, don't be creepy. Oh, man.
Shoot on sight. We're their food source. They are not becoming vegan.
You say warm bodies be dead. It's too much.
Rated PG-13, February 1st.
And welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the first three films of February 2013. And we start off with our first film, Warm Bodies, which focuses on the development of a relationship between Julie, played by Teresa Palmer, a young woman, and R, played by Nicholas Hoult, who's a zombie, and how their eventual romance develops throughout. The film is noted for displaying human characteristics and zombie characters and being told from a zombie's perspective. As you can tell from the trailer early on, you know, he kind of starts off like a regular zombie, doing the whole brains and all that type of stuff, not really having a vocabulary, but as the film goes on, he starts to talk more like the humans do, and that's one of the things I kind of thought was pretty interesting about this film. But I did really enjoy this movie a lot. It was actually very, very good. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was very creative for what they were able to do. I thought it was an overall solid movie. I mean, I thought Hoult and Palmer worked off each other very well. You know, Rob Corddry's given a really good performance in here. They don't really have a whole lot of dialogue to work with because they're zombies, but you buy their chemistry when these two, you buy Hoult's chemistry with Palmer, but you also buy it with Corddry as well, even though him and Corddry can't really talk about much because Corddry's obviously a zombie. But if there's some things I have with the flaws of the film, I thought the visual effects overall were pretty good for the most part here. Maybe not flaws just yet. I'll get to the flaws a little bit on. But I did really like the visual effects on this. I thought the bonies overall were actually kind of cool. They didn't look fake. They actually look realistic and actually look really, really cool overall when they did that. I thought the humor and the comedy was very well done. Jonathan Levine, who made one of my favorite movies of 2011, 50/50, does a great job with this as the director of this movie. The one flaw I have with this film in particular is the fact that it's the way that the zombies change course over the film. They don't really explain why. It's because of, you know, Nicholas Hoult's feelings for Teresa Palmer's character that all the zombies are changing back into normal beings. I mean, it's just kind of like, it just kind of happens. There's not really given a whole lot of explanation for it. I don't know if it's explained in the book that this is based off of, but I don't know. I don't really know if it was something brought up in the book or not, but like I said, it doesn't really overall ruin the ebb and flow of the movie. It's kind of like the Groundhog Day thing with me. Like, why is Phil Connors always waking up on Groundhog Day? We never find out. We never get an explanation for it, and we don't know how long he's been doing it, but you just kind of accept it because the movie's doing a good enough job that you don't really question it overall. And this movie did a fantastic job with the material that was given to them. It was a solid romantic comedy. It's on that same creative and unique level that something like Shaun of the Dead was 10 years ago. And it really doesn't have any major flaws with it, except the one I mentioned. But even then, this is still a really good movie. And so far, we've had some pretty good films to start this year off here. We've already had The Last Stand, which was pretty awesome, and now this one. And then next week, we'll have another one of my favorite movies of the year coming up. But I'll touch on that at the end of the show. But, yeah, that's Warm Bodies. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and it's Sylvester Stallone joining his pals Jason Statham and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the action movie circuit to start the year off with Bullet to the Head.
Go to work. Who is Vikings? Bullet to the head. Rated R.
You don't just kill a guy like that.
I just did. Starts February 1st.
Yeah, fuck Rocky and First Blood. No. When you think Sylvester Stallone, all you think of is action and explosions and car chases, which I guess for some people that's what it is. But you know, forget his more dramatic roles overall. No. This is the shit you want to see, which obviously was not the case because this, unfortunately, like The Last Stand, was also a flop. But Bullet to the head. After watching their respective partners die, a New Orleans hitman played by Sylvester Stallone and a Washington, D.C. detective played by Sung Kang from Fast and Furious form an alliance in order to bring down their common enemies played by Christian Slater, Adwale Akino Agbaje, and Jason Momoa in one of his first real big roles, coming off of the Power Rangers show that he was on back then. But this was like right after the bad Conan O'Brien remake, good word. Jason Momoa's Conan O'Brien would be very interesting, but not the Conan the Barbarian remake. Almost did it again. Conan the Barbarian remake that he was in, which was bad. You know, this was his first real movie where he gets to show everybody that, hey, he's got some chops overall, and to save Sylvester Stallone's daughter, played by Sarah Shahi from Fairly Legal. And the movie is based off the graphic novel from France, and it feels like a graphic novel with shots that cut in the way you'd likely see in a graphic novel. And it follows in the footsteps of the aforementioned The Last Stand, which was a bomb at the box office. However, unlike The Last Stand, which was a really damn good action movie that should have been set up for seen by more people, this one didn't quite live up to the expectations I was hoping for, but I liked it. I don't think it was as bad. I didn't think it was bad or anything, but comparing this to The Last Stand is going to win easily, which there is a lot of stuff here that actually does work. I mean, Stallone does show that he's still a force not to be messed with when it comes to these type of films, playing Jimmy Bobo. He's not unintelligible. You can understand what he's saying, unlike in Expendables 2, and he can still kick my ass any day of the week. Hell, he could probably still do it now, but, 13 years after this movie came out? I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's got to be up in his 70s at this point, right? I just got to see. Dead air. 1946, so he's closer now to 70. He's 69, right? Oh, yeah. No. He's actually closing in on 80. 79. So, yeah, there you go. 79 years old. Oh, I mean, he could probably still kick my ass even into this very day. But I like that. I like his chemistry with King in this. He's very believable. You can buy their conversations. Like, they don't really work all that well, but they're fine for what they're doing here. But Jason Momoa actually does show promise as an antagonist in here. He's one of the bad guys that kills nearly everybody in the movie. And I like Sarah Shahi here. I've always liked her. I liked her in Fairly Legal, the show that was on USA. I just wish she would have gotten some better roles to branch out of here. I like that the movie wasn't overly long. It's not a big, epic 2.5 hour movie. It's only 91 minutes long. It knew how to get the aspects of the story out in time, and I was never really bored with the film per se. The flaws really begin with the villains overall. I like Jason Momoa in here, but it was basically, a movie can't really decide who the main villain really is. Is it supposed to be Agbaji, or is it supposed to be Momoa? Momoa's the one who's killing and brutally beating everybody, and it comes to a point where I couldn't tell you who the main villain was here. Like, who was it supposed to be? Was it supposed to be this guy, or was it supposed to be the other guy? And the film never really gives you an explanation of who the bad guy really is. If there's any the biggest main problem with the movie is that there isn't a major action scene or a final action climax at all. Like, you know, I might have been expecting way too much after Expendables 2 had that amazing climax at the end with everybody, all the big action stars from back in the day beating each other up, which nearly saved that movie from not having anything of worthy value to it, but the final climax is literally a scene that could have been used in Expendables as like an action scene in the middle of the movie. It's really no climax whatsoever. It's essentially a Viking-style fight between Stallone and Momoa, which would be interesting, but not really as the big main ending of your movie. It's just kind of like, what are we even doing with this? It didn't feel like it fit right into where they were supposed to be putting that in. I mean, Bullet to the Head had some good stuff to it. There were some fun, over-the-top scenes that actually do kind of work to the film's advantage, but it's no Last Stand. Last Stand, I think, perfected that all too well. This one is just okay. There's things about it that puts it a little bit over the hump to something that's kind of enjoyable, but nothing that I would honestly say is something that you really need to see. Like, I would only say see it if you're a diehard Stallone fan and you want to see Stallone kicking some ass in this, but other than that, though, there's really no other reason to see Bullet to the Head whatsoever, so take that for what you will. So with that said, let's move on to our last movie that we have here. Al Pacino, Alan Arkin, and Christopher Walken in Stand Up Guys.
He's my best friend. Just got back from a long trip. That just get weird? Yes.
Kill him by 10 o'clock or you're dead too.
What do you want to do until then? I could really party. Hey, no drugs at the bar.
It's a prescription.
I got the hypertension. I'm retired.
Nice work.
It was intense. I threw up in my mouth.
Stand Up Guys. In theaters February 1st.
Directed by the guy who played the Indian guy in Short Circuit, who was not Indian at all. Fisher Stevens directed this movie. This is stand-up, guys, and I could not honestly tell you right from the get-go what the premise of this movie is. I just know that it's three old actors you're very familiar with. I guess they're doing some kind of thing. One of them was in prison. So after 28 years, Al Pacino gets out of prison, and his friend Doc, played by Christopher Walken, picks him up. The local mob boss Claphands, literally his name is Claphands, played by Mark Margolis, who is that the wheelchair guy from Better Call Saul? Breaking Bad? It is Hector from Breaking Bad. You know, look at me, Hector. Look at me. And then he blows up Giancarlo Esposito and half of his face comes off. Yeah, that's the guy that's in this movie. I completely forgot that was him. The local mob boss Claphands wants Val dead. Claphands' son died in the robbery and he blames Val, and Doc has until morning to kill him. It's a long night. Val wants to party, and they visit the cat house. Val needs Viagra. They break into a pharmacy, and after midnight, they pick up Hirsch, played by Alan Arkin, their old wheelman driving a city in a stolen car. They visit the cat house, help a woman in distress bury a body, and eat at Doc's Hangout, a cafe where the waitress Alex is cheerful. Alex being played by Addison Timlin. I don't know. I thought she was younger now. How old is she? Because I've seen her before in other movies, but I'll look it up in just a second here. But give me the plot again. There we go. The sun rises. Claphands wants Val dead, and Val, who has figured out his own fate, is resigned. Is there anything left to take care of? Yeah, figure out what kind of direction you want to take your movie, because I could not tell you what type of a film this was supposed to be. Like, this movie felt like it was all over the place. Now, I guess she is older. I mean, she's 34 years old. She was on Californication. And she was married to the guy from Shameless, Jeremy Allen White, who is, of course, now on The Bear, just played Bruce Springsteen, so there you go. I just wanted to give you an update on that one, but yeah, this movie's biggest problem is that the direction is all over the place. Does it want to be like a Hangover-esque type of comedy, or does it want to be something in the same vein of a crime comedy, a crime comedy in general? Because, you know, you can't really tell what the direction is supposed to be here. You can't tell who's supposed to be what here, and you know, none of these guys really feel like they're part of like an old mob boss crew, like the ones in The Crew. Like, if you ever see The Crew with Burt Reynolds and Richard Dreyfuss and Seymour Cassel, they were at least in the mafia, and they were still doing it after all these years. But this is nothing like that at all. It just really feels like it's all over the place in terms of the story, in terms of the plot, and just does not really have an indication of where they want to go with it. And that's really kind of the major flaw of the film as well. And that's just and you know, you got a cast also includes Juliana Margulies, Lucy Punch, Vanessa Folito, Catherine Winnick, Bill Burr. So there is a good cast involved in here. But the direction, the tone, there's really nothing about this movie that makes you think that this film has an idea of what the direction this is supposed to be going with here. And there's just nothing there that makes this worth it in the end. It feels empty. It honestly just feels like an empty film where nothing of value is going to come from it, and you're just only going to see it because, hey, you like Pacino, Walken, and Arkin together, and I guess they're fine in here, but we go to see these movies with them to see a much better film than anything they're bringing up in this film, and yeah, it just doesn't work for me. It just didn't work on all levels. I think it was just a bad script overall. No real direction of where they were going with it. Just, they brought these veteran actors in here and said, here, do whatever you want, and we'll put it into film, and we'll see if we can write a story around it. That's really what it felt like to me when I watched this. So, yeah, I would say skip stand-up, guys, if you can.
Looks good. Can I pay with a card?
What the hell is this?
It's the person who stole your identity.
Every day I'm hustling.
Sandy Bigelow, Patterson.
She's like a hobbit.
Going after Bilbo. You don't chase criminals.
Gotcha. I can't let this woman out of my sight.
Challenge him physically.
We got us a live one.
Identity Thief, rated R.
Oh my god, bad memories, please get this fucking movie out of my sight. Oh yeah, it's one of those bad movies. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We don't have an intro this week, mostly because I couldn't think of really a bit intro to do here, but we're looking at the 4 movies of February 8th, 2013, and let's just go ahead and just dig through this one, because my god, this movie is awful. Identity Thief starring Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy. This is notable for Melissa McCarthy being her first real movie after her success with Bridesmaids a couple years ago. And this was supposed to be the launching of her post-Bridesmaids career as a leading comedic actress. And boy, that success, there was success, but my God, these movies that she starred in were terrible. And this is probably it's sad to say that this is probably the one that's the least bad, but it's still pretty bad. But it's the story of Sandy Peterson, a man whose identity is stolen by a female con artist. Sandy's played by Jason Bateman, and the con artist is played by McCarthy. After the police tell him that it will take up a year to solve the case, Sandy decides to go across country to find her, and clear his name. So it's one of these lame brain action comedies, and this is the literal definition of a lame brain comedy, because my God, this movie is fucking awful. This is very high up there with the worst movies I saw that year. I mean, this is that bad of a movie. And yet people bought into it. People were suckered in because it's directed by the same guy that did Horrible Bosses, Seth Gordon. But it's also written by the guy who did the Hangover movies, which, I mean the first one was good. Everything else, nope. Garbage. Straight up garbage. Like this movie here. Everybody in this movie is a fucking idiot because they take the simplest situations and instead of just doing the right thing about them, just going on their way, they do something incredibly stupid. It's not just a one-time decision. It's like this all throughout the movie. This whole movie is it's a litmus test of how much your patience will be tested, because you want to not only smack Melissa McCarthy, you want to punch the shit out of Jason Bateman because he's the one that's provoking this whole thing. Just do what they're telling you to do and just wait. No, I can't do that because I gotta go and do this thing because we wouldn't have a movie if we did it. Just like, it's not funny. Nothing about this movie is funny. The jokes are terrible. They waste some good comedic talent all across the board here. And it has one of the biggest fuck you endings I've ever seen in my life. This is bordering on Bounty Hunter levels of bad in terms of the ending of this movie. That's how terrible this movie is. An absolute abysmal mess of a film. One of Melissa McCarthy's two big misfires of the year, because, yeah, the other one was much more successful for a lot of people, but that movie ain't any better. Sorry, but I think you know which one I'm talking about here. But if you're not, stay tuned to the end to the summer for that. But yeah, not much more to say about this one. Identity Thief is a steaming pile of garbage. It's not funny. It wastes all this good talent. And it's just a mess of a movie that idiots bought into it and went on to become a massive hit. Meanwhile, there was a good movie that came out this weekend that nobody wanted to go see because, heaven forbid, we put the money that we put into Identity Thief into a really good movie like Steven Soderbergh's latest film, Side Effects.
I love everything about him. He swept me off my feet.
I can get us back to where we were, Anne. Promise. You remember this beautiful lady here?
She looks amazing.
She's doing well.
How things been going with you?
I can finally sleep. I have some energy. We had sex.
Whoever makes this truck is going to be rich.
911, what's your emergency?
Someone's been murdered. What do we do?
Where's her lawyer?
She doesn't have one. Just kept talking about you.
Would you have treated her differently if she was a man?
That's not what happened.
Em, what is going on?
I don't think you should be my doctor anymore.
Someone gets punished.
I had no idea this was going on.
You've been lying to her, and he was lying to me. I would never be here if it weren't for you.
I want my life back!
You know I'm not crazy. Everyone knows everything.
Em, are you awake?
Destroy that before it destroys you.
Side Effects, February 8th.
But no, instead of seeing a smart, savvy movie like this, no, let's put the money into the garbage that we just talked about here. But this is a really good movie. This is one of my favorite movies of the year, easily. You have Emily, played by Rooney Mara, and Martin, played by Channing Tatum, who are a successful New York couple whose world unravels when a new drug prescribed by Emily's psychiatrist, played by Jude Law, intended to treat anxiety, has unexpected side effects. Now, at the time, this was kind of a big deal because this was supposed to be Steven Soderbergh's last theatrical film, and his last film was going to be the Liberace movie Beyond the Candelabra that came out the following year. But of course, he hasn't done that. He's gone on to direct many other movies, some good ones, especially one that came out this year, Black Bag, which I highly recommend checking out. But, you know, with a director who's managed to tap into so many different genres over the course of his career, it was weird to think that his theatrical directing career was going to end with a real downer of a film. I'm not even kidding, man. This was probably the most depressing movie I've seen in a very long time. I mean, I saw both United 93 and World Trade Center, and this movie was just like, oh my God, man, lighten the fuck up. But, again, with all that said, this is still one of the best movies of the year, easily. The performances are great. Rooney Mara is really good in this movie. She gives a very convincing performance, maybe even more so than Elizabeth Salander in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I thought Jude Law was really good in here, playing the doctor in here. Catherine Zeta-Jones is very good, playing her former doctor. And the biggest surprise being that Channing Tatum, he's only in here for a little bit, and yet he once again proves that he's still got the acting chops overall. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and sure enough, that would show up in other movies. The dark feel of the story works really well, too, and it's definitely present in every scene of the film. Even in some of the lighter flashbacks, you can just feel a dark presence in the background, and I love the way the film does that. Like, even when the happy moments are there, there's just that sense of an aura of something that's about to be fucked up with these two, and, I give the movie credit for not going on a happy note like other movies of this type do. Like, this is one of those movies that doesn't play it safe. It gives you the cold, hard truth of reality in general. And, I mean, I'll be honest, the first half didn't really click with me at first. But first half just kind of felt like scenes that were clipped together without any real connection to the other. And, I got lost for a little bit. But then the plot comes in, one character gets killed off, and all of a sudden, all these problems I had with the first film quickly went away. And if there's any other thing I'll give the movie a flack for, it's that it felt a little too long for its own good. There's a point when you think it's going to come to an end, but then it's just like, okay, now here's the next part of the story. It's just like, you were about to wrap it up, it looked like, but, I mean, despite everything I say, this is still a really, really damn good movie. This is still one of the best movies I've seen this year. The actors are great in here. The twist ending I thought was actually pretty impressive overall, too. Like, I liked the twist that it took. Like, that dark feel really helps this film overall. It doesn't sugarcoat the story. It shows you the really twisted things that can happen with some people like this, especially with the things that they're going through here. I mean, if Steven Soderbergh was going to wrap his career up with a movie like this, I would have been more than okay with it, because he made a fantastic fucking film. But yeah, this is still one of the best movies of the year. Can't recommend this one enough. Side Effects. So, with all of that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is Top Gun in 3D. I don't know why I do that. I just think that's fun.
Today, Top Gun is in IMAX. For 6 days only. And own it forever on Blu-ray 3D February 19th.
So this was something that they brought back into theaters for literally 1 week, as they said in the commercial, where you got to see this movie in theaters, but you also got to get a chance to own it on 3D Blu-ray forever, which, yeah, Blu-ray 3D unfortunately did not last very long. It's that following week, but I'm going to delve more into this when we get to this particular weekend. I'm talking about the movie's flashback, but I'll just say this. The original Top Gun's not that great of a movie. I mean, yeah, it's got one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. That soundtrack has more of a legacy to it than the movie does, but I'll give it this. It has its place in history. It's not a bad movie, but for this grand cinematic masterpiece that I think people give it credit for, it's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's a movie where it is specifically 80s. It specifically is a film that you could just tell is very much a Tom Cruise vehicle for the 1980s overall. It was the film that catapulted him to superstardom and all, but it isn't that great of a movie overall. I do think Top Gun Maverick is a better film, but even then, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, I liked it a lot back then, but I've kind of gone down with it overall. Like, I don't think it's as strong as it was when I first saw it, but it's still better than Top Gun, the original Top Gun. But Top Gun is a fun movie overall, mostly because of the flying scenes, the action, the cinematography, the music. I mean, that's the stuff you really come back to with that movie. And this probably would have been cool to see in 3D on the big screen, but I don't know. That's just my personal take on it. Not much more to say about that one. Like I said, I'm going to delve more into it once we get to this particular weekend in 1986 on talking about the movie's flashbacks, which should be within the year or so. So let's go ahead and move on to our last film, which is a historic film because it's the first official release from A24. And if you know their movies, you know that they are known for making movies that are very bizarre and sometimes very fucked up. And I think their first film perfectly sums up what the studio would eventually become going forward, and that is A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Schwann III.
You're nuts.
I know I am.
I've been dreaming about you my whole life.
Heard about the Battle of the Sexes. This is it.
So there's hope for me? There's always hope.
You got any whiskey?
All right, this gonna hurt.
So a couple of notable things about this particular movie, and the fact that it's not only A24's first theatrical release, but it's produced and directed by Roman Coppola, who had made another movie called CQ, and after that he made a lot of movies with Wes Anderson. You know, he worked on a lot of Wes Anderson movies, and this definitely has a Wes Anderson vibe to it, to the point where you have to think that maybe that he saw what Wes Anderson was doing, is just like, well, shit, I can do that too with this movie, because, yeah, there's definitely parts of this that feel like a Wes Anderson film. It's not saying it's a great thing, but at least it's something there. But in the 1970s, successful, and also this is Charlie Sheen, his first big theatrical film release after leaving Two and a Half Men 2 years prior. So, in the 1970s, successful graphic designer and ladies' man Charles Schwann III, played by Charlie Sheen, is dumped by his girlfriend Ivana, played by Catherine Winnick, and it throws his life into a tailspin. He doesn't know whether he loves her, hates her, wants her back, or never wants to see her again. Along with his best friends Kirby, played by Jason Schwartzman, and his manager Saul, played by Bill Murray, Charles starts to suffer from nightmares, fever dreams of past relationships, and hits rock bottom as he tries to recover from the recent breakup and tries to turn his life around. And needless to say, this movie was a massive flop when it came out. It wasn't a big hit with the critics. It bombed at the box office, only making back $210,000 off of a $12 million budget. But to the movie's credit, though, I'll give it this. It's a ballsy movie, man. And like I said, it's the perfect definition of what the studio A24 stood for a long time. These weird, fucked up movies. Keep in mind, this is the company that put out stuff like Midsommar and also Hereditary, like The Lighthouse. These very unique, odd art house films. And this film kind of feels like it fits right up in that alley overall. And yeah, it's definitely a movie that is very much in A24's style of filmmaking. Now, does that make it a good movie? No. It's a very flawed film from the story department, but from a visual perspective, it is kind of fascinating to watch. But again, we always talk about this. Visuals don't always make the fucking movie. And in this case, yeah, it doesn't make the film overall. I think it makes for a kind of unique experience that you'll look at and go like, well, this isn't really a great movie, but I can't say it's a movie that's terrible. The effort's being put into it with the visuals and the casting overall, but like I said, that's not what makes a movie. We want a good story to tell. We want to get invested with characters that we want to get attached to. And yeah, you don't get that with this movie over here. But like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just a really odd film that fits right in the studio's repertoire overall. And I mean, it's kind of fascinating to watch for some reasons. But other than that, though, it's more of a curiosity watch overall. For a one-time watch, I think it's worth it. But other than that, though, you're never going to want to watch this again after the first time around. But like I said, I'll give it this. It definitely fits into what you think the studio would do with some of the films they put out. Because, yeah, it's definitely a very bizarre and odd movie, to say the least. A glimpse inside the mind of Charles Schwann III.
Of Plainfield, New Jersey.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That trailer didn't look kind of badass, with the Ode to Joy playing in the background. You see Bruce Willis as John McClane once again, but keep in mind that this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is our director. Would you want to trust somebody who literally looks like he just got off of Twitter after bitching about, Brie Larson being cast as Rosalita in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, or talking shit about Kathleen Kennedy online? John Moore literally looks like those people that are behind the desk at their computers, typing that shit on Twitter and then going on and looking at porn. It's just like, that's the type of person that belongs in the Please, Please, Please Get a Life Foundation. That's our director for this movie, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Time About the Movies. What a pleasant way to start this one off here. We've got the 4 films of February 14th, 2013. Technically February 15th, but most of these movies open up on Thursday because of Valentine's Day, and boy, this was a rough weekend. And what better way to start it off with this train wreck of a film that is a good day to Die Hard. And first of all, why the fuck are you releasing a Die Hard movie on Valentine's Day weekend? Who the fuck wants to go see a Die Hard film on this weekend, honestly? But then again, with a movie as terrible as this, there's probably a good reason why it's there. The main plot finds John McClane once again traveling to Russia, once again played by Bruce Willis, traveling to Russia to get his estranged son Jack, played by Jai Courtney, an undercover CIA agent, out of prison. He's soon caught in the crossfire of a global terrorist plot, and yeah, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of what's wrong with this movie in general. This movie was so badly panned when it came out. The expectations for me coming into this were heavily lowered, and yeah, it is, without a doubt, the worst Die Hard movie ever. This is a movie that makes Live Free or Die Hard look like a masterpiece by comparison. And I love Live Free or Die Hard, and that was the PG-13 one. Here's the one where they brought it back to the R rating because they thought that was going to get everybody back into this movie because it needed to be rated R. And okay, it's rated R. Does that mean that it's a good movie? No, it's pretty bad. It's really, really, really bad. Like, I mean, this movie is just so bad on so many levels. I didn't mind it when it came out, but I have not watched it in the 12 years since then. I mean, I put up a review when it first came out saying that I just thought it was alright, but yeah, I haven't seen it in 12 years. I watched it again recently to get ready for this, and yeah, it's really bad. It is really, really bad. I mean, for one thing, it's way too short. It's a 90-minute movie, and it didn't, the other movies, this is the one time that I wanted the movie to be longer. I wanted the movie to have more to it because they cut down so much into this movie in 90 minutes, and it's just, you really have no idea what the hell is going on here. The only positives I can give this movie is that Bruce Willis and Jai Courtney, I thought were good in this movie. I thought they were okay in this, but yeah, you can't buy them as father and son, but their chemistry on screen does work well enough to make it passable. I mean, especially towards the end of the movie. The action sequences overall are well done. On the big screen, yeah, they look pretty good. The car chase is well done. The sequences that follow that are very well done. And for the ending, the most part, it's pretty good. Then we get to a lot of the problems. For one thing, the story really gets lazy at the end. It starts off very promisingly, but right as the second half begins, they fall into the same stupid, silly cliches that I get sick and tired of in action movies. The double cross, then they pull twice, and what happens? And it happens the second time around. Just fuck off with this. Like, I'm so sick and tired of the double cross. Like, it's so painful. It's not intriguing whatsoever. There is nothing about this thing that works at all in this, and it just takes you out of the movie until the last action sequence happens. And again, this is another one of those movies where you can't tell who the bad guy is until the last 10 minutes of the movie. No movie in the history of mankind has ever been good when they never give us an indication of who the real villain is. And by that, when they don't give us any hints towards the reveal at all, I mean, that's what happens in this movie. It's so poorly done, and by the end of it, you just don't give a crap anymore. Third, the opening titles of this movie are so pathetic. This is like an episode of a really bad TV show, and it looks terrible. This looks like the CBS version of Die Hard, the TV series. Like, the most generic titles ever. It does not feel like a Die Hard movie in any way, shape, or form. It just feels like, why would you even bother with this? Because you rushed this out there, and you wanted to do something, and you wanted to get this out there quickly just so you can make amends for the PG-13 rating for Live Free or Die Hard, which, that's the biggest problem with this movie in general, is that John McClane gets into so many of these action sequences in which he gets tossed around in cars, he's being flown up by a helicopter, and literally breaks through glass, and he's barely injured. In the original Die Hard movie, he was getting injured a lot. You felt that pain that he had when he had to walk through all that glass. You saw the blood. You saw his clothes getting ripped apart. They kept that in Die Hard too. They kept that in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Even in Live Free or Die Hard they did that. But in this, it's like he's fucking Superman. Like, he's like a cartoon character. Like, he'll get banged up in one scene, and then the next scene, he's literally fine in the next one. And that's really the biggest flaw of the movie, because the main hero is not losing a single bit of blood in this. And it's an R-rated Die Hard movie, for God's sakes. Live Free or Die Hard was PG-13, and like I said, McClane gets badly bruised up in that movie, but in this, he has no scratches on him, and by the end, all the stuff he goes through here, it's literally the equivalent of me cutting myself accidentally at work with a box cutter. That's literally how bad it is. Like it's so pathetic, and it ruins these great action sequences. When all the stuff that he goes through, he's been getting severely injured and bleeding all around. There's no excuse to do this in an R-rated Die Hard movie. Like, Tosh.0 showed a video where a kid breaks his foot jumping into a trampoline, and they literally show the blood sticking out of the kid, the bone sticking out of the kid. That's on Comedy Central. That's on television for people to see. This is an R-rated movie, and John McClane is just clean as a whistle, pretty much. Like, he has nothing on him whatsoever, and it's just like, this movie is a fucking mess, man. This is a terrible movie. It was already the worst Die Hard movie, but I gave it a pass when it came out. I'm not giving it a pass anymore. This thing fucking sucks. It sucks so bad. I hated nearly everything about it. It's a disastrous movie. It's a terrible film. What more do you gotta say, man? A good day to Die Hard. A good day for the series to die in general, because, yeah, no, thank God we haven't gotten another one of these movies. And they've been trying to do it for several years, but seeing as how Bruce Willis is basically retired because of his illnesses overall, yeah, it's likely we're not going to see him back as John McClane anytime soon, so. Which is good, because, hey, leave us with the memories of the first 4 Die Hard movies, and then we can just toss this 5th one off to the side and throw it in like a dumpster somewhere so nobody has to see it again. I mean, yeah, just, God, what an awful movie. And the shit continues. Let's move on to our next movie, another Nicholas Sparks movie, Safe Haven.
What's so important?
It's like this. It's like, I've had things happen to me in the past, things that still scare me. Did you hear about his wife? She passed away a few years ago.
Do you know this woman?
It's everything that I was afraid of, but I'm not running anymore.
There is no safer place than right here with me.
Safe Haven, rated PG-13, in theaters February 14th.
Why the fuck do we keep letting Nicholas Sparks get away with this? Because, my God, man, these movies get stupider and stupider and stupider as they go along. I thought The Lucky One was the worst one, but this might honestly top it, because, man, you're not prepared for the stupid twist they throw into this movie. When a mysterious young woman named Katie, played by Julianne Hough, appears in the small North Carolina town of Southport, her sudden arrival raises questions about her past. Beautiful, self-effacing Katie seems determined to avoid former personal ties until a series of events draws in her 2 reluctant relationships, one with Alex, played by Josh Duhamel, a widowed store owner with a kind-hearted 2 young children, and another with a plain-spoken single neighbor, played by Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother. Despite her reservations, Katie begins to let her down her guard, putting down roots in the close-knit community and becoming increasingly attached to Alex and his family. But even as Katie begins to fall in love, she struggles with a dark, haunting, terrifying secret that set her on a shattering journey across the country to the sheltered oasis of Southport. With Joe's empathetic, stubborn support, Katie eventually realizes that she must choose between a life of transcendent safety or one of riskier rewards, and that in the darkest hour, love is the only true safe haven. Fuck off, Nicholas Sparks. No, really, this IMDb storyline here was written by Nicholas Sparks. Don't believe me? Yeah, Nicholas Sparks wrote that. The thing is completely on him. My God, man, this movie is such a mess of a film. It's not even a trip. It's a bad trip overall, because it starts off like a routine Nicholas Sparks story, and then we got to throw in this subplot about this guy who we got to throw this other subplot about one of her ex-lovers who might be stalking her, and then the big twist in the movie. You want to know what the stupid twist is in this movie? Because I'm going to tell you, because this is a terrible movie. Kobe Smulders, who plays the neighbor in this, yeah. So apparently, it turns out that Joe was the ghost of the woman that was killed by Julianne Hough's former husband. Is by Julianne Hough's, it's Josh Duhamel's ex-wife who died, you know, and she was being the ghost to Julianne Hough's character. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going down the over her dead body route with this. I mean, I butchered that, but yeah, this is really fucking stupid. This is one of the stupidest movies I have ever seen in my entire life. It is lazy. It is so poorly put together. It is not entertaining or romantic at all. This is the type of movie that idiots that buy into this are people that you do not want to ever fall in love with, because good lord, like this right here this might very well be the worst Nicholas Sparks movie I've seen to date. I mean, like I said, The Lucky One was bad. This one might be even worse. That's how terrible this movie is. Just an ungodly mess of a movie. Just a mess overall, but yeah, that's all I gotta say about Safe Haven. You'd be better off being safe by not going to this movie at all. And I love the fact that the plot synopsis is that stay in this little town, little community, or go back on the run where this guy that's gonna kill you, is stalking you and following you around. It's just like, I think I know which option I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna go run across the country and have the guy follow me. Why would I want to stay in this little town that nobody knows about? It's just like, oh, and it gets worse. It gets worse from here, people. Here's our next movie, The Weinstein Company, trying desperately to create another hoodwink success and once again failing miserably at it with Escape from Planet Earth.
Tell us what it's like to be the greatest hero in the universe.
No questions, just pictures. Yeah, baby!
That's humiliating.
Deep in the heart of the universe, these brothers do everything in their power to protect their galaxy.
I'm the brains, and you're the brawn.
But there's one place
We've received an SOS from the Dark Planet.
even they're not safe.
It's so beautiful. Commencing rescue op. Greetings. We heard your call for help. Don't you die on me, buddy! Freeze! Who's next? Hey. Okay, I love you guys.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. Please take me seriously as a threat, even though I'm William Shatner. Like, it's still the dumping weeks, people. And yeah, this one definitely feels like a film that was being dumped out because the studio didn't believe in it. The story takes place on the planet Bob, where a minor astronaut, Scorched Supernova, played by Brendan Fraser, is a national hero to the blue alien population. A master of daring rescue, Scorch pulls off astonishing feats with the quiet aid of his nerdy brother, played by Rob Corddry, head of mission control at BASA. But as you see in the trailer, of course, he gets taken in by the FBI. Was it the FBI or is it the FBI or the CIA? It's the people behind Area 51, pretty much, and they basically take him in and try to prove that aliens exist and all that. And who gives a fucking shit, man? This movie is the definition of a please make us another Shrek-style hit so we can have our own Shrek success. And you had your success with that with Hoodwink, and then you completely fucked that up with Hoodwink 2. And yeah, there's no reason why this movie should have been made. It's a terrible movie. So many cast members involved, so many big names in this for no reason. Rob Corddry, Brendan Fraser, Sarah Jessica Parker, William Shatner, Jessica Alba, Craig Robinson, George Lopez, Jane Lynch, Sofia Vergara, Ricky Gervais, Steve Zahn, Chris Parnell, Bill Hader. Why are they in this movie? Because all the other studios have big names in their movies, and we want our movie like that too. Like, you want to know how bad this movie is? There was a lawsuit that happened on the day the film was released, and there was a lawsuit going on essentially that the director of this had signed a deal with, and they had sued the producer sued the Weinstein Company, claiming they had signed a deal where they would receive at least 20% of the gross profit of the movie, which would have been up to $50 million in back-end participation alone. But the film ended up going into development hell for so many years, and the Weinstein Company was basically in this lawsuit with them. And on the day the movie came out, there was a document filed in New York Supreme Court where lawyers for both sides filed a motion of discontinuance in the case, effectively ending it. And essentially, they went to court for absolutely no reason. And really, you can't really blame them for that, because look at the movie that they're trying to defend here. Who would want to go to court over Escape from Planet Earth? Like, who really is dependent on this movie's success that they have to sue the company because of this? Just like, the movie was going to fail regardless because it's fucking terrible. Lame jokes, bad comedy, just a terrible waste of a good voice cast. And hey, the only good thing I can say about this is that this director's gone on to direct much better successful movies with the Paw Patrol films. I mean, that's basically all he got left to really admire about this. But other than that, though, yeah, there's nothing about this movie that is worth it whatsoever. It's lazy, it's bad, it's a terrible movie. Escape from Planet Earth, what more do you got to say about it? Just utter garbage. And we have one more really, really bad film to get to here, so let's just wrap this one up because I'm tired right now, and that is Beautiful Creatures.
Been to a lot of schools?
Yeah.
That must be nice. I only ever lived here.
Must be nice.
You want to go out with me?
You don't know anything about me.
Are you a witch?
Your mother, she lives in the darkness.
The same thing could happen to me.
Lena, you're a miracle.
You think you can keep Lena so innocent? I'm scared I'm gonna hurt you.
Love's a risk for anybody.
Beautiful Creatures, rated PG-13, starts February 13th.
Oh man, that was schmaltzy as fuck. I mean, good lord, that was terrible. It was so terrible, it made my tongue blue. I'm eating airheads in between these takes. That's why my tongue is blue. See? But anyway, Beautiful Creatures. Let's talk about this film. Well, we could not. I mean, we could talk about my tongue being blue, but we got to get through this. So, teenage Ethan Wade, played by Alden Ehrenreich, who I think is a very good actor overall. I think he gets a bad rap. I liked him in Hail Caesar. I thought he was really good in Solo: A Star Wars Story, and I liked him in Cocaine Bear. He's a very underrated actor. I like him a lot. But here he plays a teenager who's obsessed with his urge to finish high school, go on to college, and leave behind the small town of Gatlin, South Carolina, until a mysterious girl invades his dreams. When he meets Lena Duchess, played by Alice Englert, a newcomer who's just enrolled into school, he knows he's seen the goal of his dreams. Lena is rejected by the rest of her classmates for being the niece of Macon Ravenwood, played by Jeremy Irons, who the town's suspicious residents consider to be a devil worshipper. But Ethan gives her a ride anyway, and they fall in love. Lena reveals to her new boyfriend that she's a witch, and that on her 16th birthday she will be claimed by either the forces of light or of darkness. She can only remain in the light if she doesn't remain in love with Ethan, or her evil mother Seraphine, Dame Emma Thompson, is casting spells to push her to the dark side. Ethan joins her in a search to find a magic spell to save their doomed love, and blah 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 blah. Twilight garbage again. I mean, if you have to make Twilight look butch by comparison, you have fucked up big time, man. This movie is awful. This is one of the most pathetic movies I have ever seen in my entire life. It's so bland and boring and lifeless and so many other things. It's a mess, man, and it wastes a good cast, too. As I mentioned, Alden Ehrenreich, you got Jeremy Irons, Emma Thompson, Viola Davis, Emmy Rossum, Thomas Mann are in here as well. I mean, Carl Garner, Rachel Brosnahan, a lot of really good talents in here. Margot Martindale's in this. Zoe Deutsch is in this movie. So many good people involved in this movie, but they have nothing to work with here. This is another failed attempt at Warner Brothers to try to create their next Twilight success, and yeah, it's a flop fest of a film. Like, yeah, it's hard to copy successful films. We know this, but man, Warner Brothers tried their hardest to try to do this. This is not the last time they did this, too. Remember, these are the same people that put out Red Riding Hood 2 years ago, and we know how badly that turned out. This one isn't as laughingly bad as Red Riding Hood is, but it ain't great either. This is a terrible, terrible movie, man. Such a mess overall. I never read the books these are based off of. I don't want to read the books these are based off of. This is a terrible movie, man. Just the perfect example of a really, really bad week for movies. And one can hope that we are finally going to get past the terribleness of these terrible weeks of movies and finally get to the good stuff next time around. Nope. Next week's even worse.
Your son with distribution of narcotics. What?
I helped them make arrests. They'll reduce Jason's sentence.
I get you out of here. How? By doing a drug deal.
What happens when one finds out you're an informant?
I'm gonna let either side dictate our fates. I love you, son.
Every move that I make, Jason will have to live with for the next 10 years of his life.
And what if you don't live?
Snatch, rated PG-13, February 22nd.
Oh my god, this is another terrible, terrible fucking weekend for the movies. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. And, professionalism. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. And yeah, as you could tell, we're in for another shitty weekend of movies. We're not even doing an intro. We only got 2 movies, and they're fucking terrible. Let's just delve through them. Let's start off with the biggest of the 2, Snitch. Like, an intimidating action movie called Snitch. Snitch sounds like the name of an action comedy, but this ain't a comedy. And in fact, okay, maybe it is a comedy because the stuff they pull off in here is fucking ridiculous, man. Dwayne Johnson stars as a guy who goes undercover for the DEA after his estranged son is framed for a drug deal by his best friend. So what does the DEA decide to do? What does he decide? What did they decide to do? Go ahead and make him do a drug deal themselves. It's just kind of like, you see the contradiction here, people? It's just like, not only is this movie's message so under the complete purpose of what they're trying to do here, I mean, there is an idea of something that could be interesting about this movie, but it's just not here with this movie, man. And again, a movie that wastes so many good, talented people in this movie. You see Dwayne Johnson, who has proven time and time again he can be a good actor. You've got Barry Pepper, Benjamin Bratt, Harold Perrineau from Lost, Susan Sarandon, John Barenthal, Michael Kenneth Williams, Melina Kamakanaris from Providence and CSI New York, Nadine Velasquez, another movie that she was in this within the span of a year. David Harbaugh's in here. There is a lot of big people in this movie, but they're given nothing to do here. This is such a generic-ass storyline that we've seen done to death before so many times in the past. And boy, this thing just is a mess, man. And it makes sense coming from Rick Roman Waugh, who also gave us the masterpiece that was Angel Has Fallen and Greenland's 1 and 2, because people demanded a Greenland sequel after they saw the success of the first film, Greenland was not that successful to begin with here. The problem is with this movie is that, like I said, it's another generic-ass action film. I mean, it's not even a good generic-ass action film. We know Dwayne Johnson can be a good badass actor in movies like this, but not in this movie here. This is just a waste of talent across the board on a script that has been done to death before so many times. There is nothing of value to this film whatsoever. So yeah, needless to say, we can avoid Snitch like the plague. And you can also avoid the next movie we have here, our last film, and that is Dark Skies.
Have you seen any bright lights in the sky above your neighborhood that moved in an unusual way? Have you witnessed any abnormal behavior by animals? Have you experienced a feeling that you might not be in control of your own body?
Daniel?
Do you know what they want?
Tom, Daddy.
When they're ready, they will take your family.
Dark Skies, rated PG-13, February 22nd.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Was that supposed to scare the audience? Because you failed miserably at it. But then again, I wouldn't expect anything less from the director of such masterpieces of intended scary films that have turned out to be fucking comedies like Legion and Priest. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is that same director making this movie. And, Blumhouse usually makes some good horror movies, but more times than not, they are more than willing to make some really bad ones. And let me tell you, this is a pretty bad one. Stop me if you've heard this plot before, because it is so revolutionary and so original that it's never been done before. As the Barrett family's peaceful suburban life is rocked by an escalating series of disturbing events, they come to learn that terrifying and deadly forces after them, one of which may have arrived from beyond the stars. Wow, we're throwing in a mix between an alien invasion film and also the Amityville horror, because yeah, my God, this movie is a mess of a film. From the scares that are not scary, from wasting this talented cast that includes Kerry Russell and J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is better than this garbage here, and yeah, this is straight up garbage. And here's how you know this movie is bad. The director of this, Scott Stewart, wrote the script for this. It took him 6 weeks to complete this. They started shooting this in August, and it came out in February of the next year. They spent 6 months on this movie. They knew it was bad. They knew it was terrible, and yet idiots bought into it because it did become a hit, and, everyone looked at it just like, oh, well, Blumhouse knows what they're doing. No, Blumhouse doesn't always know what they're doing, because, yeah, like I said, Blumhouse can make good horror movies, but they make more bad ones than good ones, and man, this one is definitely an example of a really bad one. I mean, my God. The moments in there that are supposed to be scary are not scary. They're fucking hilariously bad. Just like the movie, it's a bad film. It's a terrible, terrible movie, and it just doesn't work. It just does not work. As much as you want to try to scare people, you don't scare people the way you do with this. I mean, you saw for God's sakes, you saw what they were trying to pass off as scares in this. Like, I'm sorry, that was not scary at all. I mean, I've seen scarier things than anything in this movie. I mean, this is just a bad film, man. It's a film that's clearly a film that was dumped out in February because they knew it was bad. They didn't want to put it out in any other point in the year because they knew it was going to get tossed around by some much better movies, and they put it on this weekend, and it was a hit, unfortunately. So, yeah. Bottom line, this movie sucks. It's just the perfect summarization of this bad weekend overall, and the really, really bad stretch of movies we are on right now. Because let me tell you, we are in a really, really bad stretch of movies right now.